Welcome to It's Your City. I'm Kimberly Elliott with the Nevada Grants Office. The Nevada Grants Office works to bring people and resources together for effective grant performance. Grants are important to Nevadans because they impact us in our everyday life, from the roads that we drive on to the programs for our children and seniors. To learn more about grants, you can visit our website at grants.nv.gov. Today, we're going to spotlight an innovative use of federal funding to provide access to capital for businesses and to grow our economy. With us are Karsten Heiss and Nicola Kerslake to tell us more about Battleborn Venture. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Tell us, Karsten, how did Battleborn come about?
That's actually a really good question. And I have to go back in time a little bit to give you a history of how Nicola and I have been working on this for, I would say, more than 15 months now. When I came on board to head technology commercialization at the Governor's Office of Economic Development in April of last year, I immediately realized that what is really missing, where the gap was here in Nevada for young entrepreneurial companies, for researchers even at the universities to spin out their technology, that was funding. And my background is in investment banking and investments. I've dealt with alternative investments, worked for private equity companies on Wall Street and in Asia and in Europe. And I would try to take this experience here to Nevada and to fill that gap and set up a program to provide that funding. And I realized that we had already existing programs in the state at that point in time. And this is the Silver State Opportunity Fund, which I'm sure you all know about. And we had the what we call the Collateral Support Program and the Microloan Program. And but we were missing this bit in the middle to bridge that gap. And that's what I targeted it. And we looked at the 2010 Jobs Act as a potential source for funding. The 2010 Jobs Act set up the State Small Business Credit Initiative, in short SSBCI. And every state in the US got allocated proportion of money out of that pot. And Nevada got allocated $13.8 million, which at the time it was exclusively dedicated to loan support and microloans, but nothing to venture capital. And when you look at other states, they allocated, some did a sizable proportion, some the entire proportion, some a smaller percentage to venture capital. But Nevada didn't have that. So I came across Nicola really shortly after I joined in May of last year. And her background luckily was very similar to my investments as well. And we put our heads together and devised that program. And we put a application into US Treasury in August of last year to add to the existing collateral support and microloan venture capital. We got approval from US Treasury in May. We got approval from the Interim Finance Committee in the state in June. And we are now up and running.
Why is this program so important for Nevada?
Well, the mission is twofold, really. The first one already touched upon. That's to provide funding for the first time for early stage, high growth companies that wasn't available before. The second mission, and that's I think I would say equally important, is that to build a venture capital culture in the state. We haven't had that before. We have sort of very fragmented angel groups. We have the old venture capitalist. We have alternate high net worth individuals. And we have the occasional private equity investor in the state. But we don't have a venture capital culture. And this program really brings together all those investors. We are leading the charge, but they're coming behind us. We will co-invest with them. Mm-hmm. And so it is a creation of venture capital in the state, and it will also attract venture capitalists from other states to Nevada, because we can show to them that Nevada can produce high growth, high technology companies.
Nicola, what kind of companies are you looking to invest in?
So we're really looking at companies at 3 stages of development. The first is the one where we'll probably spend most of our time, and that's companies that are just getting going. So typically what we see is that a couple of founders have been working on an idea, probably part-time, maybe in an evening after they're done with work for the day, and have created a prototype or a beta version of their product, and have then gone out and sold it to a potential customer. And maybe they now realize that they need to raise some funding, maybe $50,000 to $100,000, to be able to actually create a production run of that product. And that's typically where something like Battleborn would come in. And so at that stage, companies would generally have fewer than 3 employees. We call that the pre-seed stage. The next stage of development is the seed stage, and that's normally where you're working full-time on your product at that point. And you probably have around 5 employees, but you're finding that you're constrained by the amount of capital that you have. Maybe you have a great market share here locally in Reno and Carson, but you think you would actually like to expand your company into other areas of the US or even internationally. And one of the areas that both Carson and I are very interested in is that we've seen a number of companies who are at a very early stage able to export to China and to India. And that's something that's very interesting to us.
It sounds very exciting. What can't you invest in?
So there are several areas that, because of the way that the program is set up, we're precluded from investing in. And these are really hard stops on our mandate. We don't have any flexibility to change our mind as to what we do with these areas. So one would be nonprofits. We're not allowed to invest in any non-profit activities at all. A second one would be research. We get a lot of ideas that come to us which do not yet have a prototype attached to them, and we can't invest in basic research. We do encourage people who are doing basic research in particular to look at the SBIR program, which is a program that's sponsored by, I think now, 7 federal agencies.
Yes.
And the website is sbir.gov, and that has some great information on it about how to apply for those kinds of opportunities.
So, Carsten, how does a company apply to the program?
Yes, very good question again, because as you can imagine, we will be inundated with applications, and actually we have been already for the last 4 weeks we have been in operation. So we would kindly ask you to apply online. The website is battlebornventure.com. That's battlebornventure in one word.com. And through that you can upload your entire application set. And what I also like to say, and to underscore what Nicola just alluded to, that we are not looking for the too early stage companies, post-prototype, and preferably we are also looking for the companies that work with an incubator, with an accelerator, with mentors. And those institutions or individuals can then help you to upload your application and to help you to decide, what application will be most convincing for us. And through that website, we have a tool at the back end of it where we can not only share with other potential co-investors, but document the entire audit trail, which is very important for US Treasury reporting. So I would encourage you to rather not send me directly an email to info@battleborn.com, but please upload it to the website.
We actually have a Twitter account if people want to ask us quick questions, which is @BattlebornVC.
Nicola, at what stage should they be talking to you?
So we really look for 4 things when companies come to us. The first one is we look for a team, And so the stage at which a team should come to us is really when they've gelled as a team together. So typically we look for a background which is folks who have great experience in the individual industry. So for instance, if you're doing a healthcare startup, we'd like to see maybe some large healthcare company experience, maybe some software development in healthcare. So we're really looking for experts in the individual field. The second thing we look for is great technology, and we know that here in this state we have some amazing technologies both developed inside the NSHE system and developed in people's garages at home. And we're really excited to see that come out into the marketplace. Oftentimes people will choose to have patented some of that technology, but it doesn't have to have been patented. We're just looking for technologies which are genuinely needed by their customer.
What impact do you forecast this to bring to Nevada?
A pretty sizable one, actually. What hasn't been mentioned yet is the size of the program, and I stress it's a program, it's not a fund. A fund implies that there are other investors in there that can invest in that fund. This is not the case. So this is a program, and what is also not, it is not a grant. You will hear obviously that the government is involved in this. It's federal money. I mentioned that the Governor's Office of Economic Development is the program manager, but it's not a grant, so it's an investment. So we are asking for a return, 3 times to 4 times the investment. So it will make money. And that money, we don't make that as a profit to distribute to investors, but that money gets plowed back into the program to be redistributed again, reinvested into companies. So it is a evergreen, we call that in our language, and it's a perpetual instrument. And we will expect about $30 to $40 million of total investment within 3 to 4 years. And that includes the co-investment of our co-investment partners. So we only have $5 million, it sounds small, for our program, but because we are investing with co-investors, with VCs, with angels, so the total impact is $30 to $40 million, and that is sizable for the state.
Well, thank you, Carson and Nicola, for telling us about this truly innovative approach to funding venture capital in Nevada. And it's also an exciting, innovative approach for grant use in federal fund use in the state. Would you like to give your website one more time?
Yes. battlebornventure.com.
And if you'd like to learn more about federal grants in Nevada, you can visit our website at grants.nv.gov. Thank you for joining us at It's Your City.